Fight fans, I'm Dr. Carl Peruzza MMA. We've got a returning guest to the show. My guest today is getting ready for a big karate combat contest just announced. Finally taking on Robelis Despaigne. He is smiling Sam. He's Mr. Sam Alvey going back, putting the belt on the line December 5th, karate combat. Sam, big news. What's going on? How are you?
Oh, man, it's huge news. And you're talking about big news. This man is massive.
Absolutely, man. You know, this has been a fight that a lot of people have been talking about for a while. Obviously, Despaigne just won that tournament a few months ago. You excited that it's finally here?
Yeah, I've been trying to fight him for a year now. Before his first karate combat fight, I heard they were signing him, and I reached out to President Austin and said, I want to fight him. Let me fight him. And President Austin said, not yet, not yet. He's pretty big, and we want to see what happens. And I just stayed on it, and eventually we had that tournament. He won the tournament. Who I was pulling for him, and now I get my chance.
You know, obviously you were there for that tournament. What did you make of it, man? You had 8 big name heavyweights out there. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it really was a good tournament. I mean, and there aren't enough tournaments like that in the world right now. I love it when Pride used to do that. When there used to be this, 3 fights in one night kind of thing, and that Karate Combat was able to pull that off with 3. I mean, name brand fighters. It was pretty slick.
Absolutely. So obviously, you know, you're getting ready into action, but you were recently into action. You did some sparring for Dan Henderson, his little show. He was refereeing. You fought a guy who wanted to challenge you. What was the thought process behind this? How did this all happen?
So John, the saga of John, I'll as quickly as I can recap it. He put his first post out on TikTok saying, I could beat any UFC guy. Somebody tagged me. So I stitched it. I said, all right, let's do it. No, I do this a lot. Every time I see somebody saying that, I said, all right. And I have a bet, or I have a running deal. If you can last 2 rounds, you don't have to win. If you can get to me in the last 2 rounds, I'll take you out to Chili's and buy a flight home. Nobody ever takes me up on it. I couldn't imagine why. John took me up on it. John was all on board, and it was about as much fun as the guy could have.
Absolutely. You know, you're one of those guys, you have a great personality. You like to embrace the fans. Really cool moment happened in your career. I believe you were the fight with the first twist 'em and the you know what. That was you, wasn't it?
Not the twist of the kick 'em.
The kick 'em.
They kick him in the dick. That was me. It was my first win in the UFC against Dylan Andrews, and that came up. Now, about every 6 months or so, it pops up. You know, I get tagged in it. Hey, you remember this was you, Sam? I said, sure was.
Absolutely, man. It's kind of crazy to think of where this sport has grown and evolved. You're a type of guy, man. You've been doing this for a very long time, man. You were doing it at the very early days of it. You know, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, people were calling MMA human cockfighting, right? It wasn't legal in every state. No one thought we'd be at a time where you'd have MMA, the UFC, PFL, karate combat, bare knuckle, all these things. Isn't it amazing for you to see where this has come and grown and evolved?
It absolutely is. I've been doing it it'll be 20 years. I think next year will be the anniversary of my first fight. So I've been doing it for a minute. And when I started doing it, there were no commissions. There was a general guideline of rules. No eye pokes, no cup shots. And that was about it. I finished my last 4 amateur fights I did in the same week. 3 of them were in the same night, and I won it by elbows. My final one by elbows. It was wonderful. Fighters were fighters back then. They weren't so much athletes. And I miss that fighters were fighters stage.
You know, when you first started getting into this, do you remember times maybe fighting in bars, barns, outside, mystery opponents? Do you remember any of this stuff?
Yeah. I fought, what was his name? Trey McKnight. I can't believe I remember the name. Trey McKnight. I was supposed to fight Rob Smith. Man, I'm taxing myself on this one. And it was in Kelly's Bleachers in Waterford, Wisconsin, and Wind Lake, Wisconsin. And it was a sports bar, and they put tarps over the volleyball court. They put a cage up there, and like 20 minutes before the fight, hey, Rob couldn't make it. I said, okay. We have this other guy. I said, okay, I'll fight this other guy. The other guy, he hit me. I remember he hit me, and I finished him shortly after. But I got backstage like I don't remember this guy hitting me. Like I don't remember most of the fight after he hit me. And it was just a different time. It was 20 minutes before the fight. I'm fighting somebody else now.
Absolutely. You know, you made your UFC debut against Tom Watson. Where were you when you got the phone call that you're going to sign in the UFC?
I was at my house. My wife was in the kitchen. I got a call from Mark Pavlich, who was my manager at the time, and he said, "Hey, we got the contract." And at this point, I knew it was coming. I had won 4 or 5 in a row, 3 fights in 1 month, even leading into it, and so I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when. But I remember immediately my wife being there said, "Britt, it's happening. We're going to the UFC."
Absolutely. Obviously, karate combat's been something that's been so awesome for you, man. It really fits your skill set. You're having great opportunities, great contests. Last time out, man, Tyrone Spong, man. And I feel like some people going into that one kind of was looking to you as the underdog. And I feel like you really reminded to some people, who's top of that division. Looking back at the performance now, what do you make of it?
Yeah, so it was my first fight at heavyweight. I'm the two division champ, fight heavyweight and heavyweight. So they were inventing a new division for me and Spong to fight in, and I was such a big underdog. I was like minus 800. I would have been plus 800. He would have been minus 800. Big underdog going into this, and every comment to Sam, "You're gonna die. You're gonna die. You're gonna die." No, I didn't. I did all right. I landed what I needed to land, but it was so much fun. The flight, being flown over to Dubai, getting to fight probably, maybe, possibly the greatest kickboxer to have ever lived, and then getting that knockout. Karate combat has been the resurgence of my career, and I'm just blessed. They've seen enough in me to make me a household name now in the combat sports again.
Karate combat, one of those promotions, it's such a unique thing. I mean, I think the skill set, the rule set is very unique. The way they display the product, I mean, it's one of the most coolest venues. Sometimes they have like the
Mhm.
special effects on the ceiling and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's in a pit. What makes this so special?
It's the lack of jujitsu. So karate combat is MMA with no jujitsu. Jujitsu is great. I'm a black belt. I love doing it. Nobody likes watching jujitsu. Nobody does. And if they tell you they do, they're full of shit. Pardon my language. Nobody likes watching jujitsu. It is boring. It's a ton of fun to do, but to watch is not. So karate combat just already no jujitsu. Everything else is good. If you wrestle too much, we're gonna stand you up. We want to see you guys hitting each other. And it's not like boxing where you're only allowed to use your hands because again that can get stale. I enjoy boxing. Good boxing matches, good, but it can be stale because you know how much else could be happening. And karate combat just has all of it, and it's not just karate. Now it is all strikers. It is a pure strikers league. So those taekwondo, boxing, whomever, karate, Muay Thai, whoever it is allowed in. They're in there and they can show off their skill set. And I'm a big fan of it.
So you're taking on Robelis Despaigne here. Overall, what do you think of him as an opponent?
Oh, he's huge. He's huge. Now I know I hit hard. I have to try to hit hard. He hits hard, and I don't think he has to try. I think he just wings those bad boys. He has to cut to 265. He is 6'7", and he's just a ton of fun to watch him every time he's in that arena. However, he's got his holes, and I'm hoping I can take advantage of those holes before he touches me.
Absolutely. For you, obviously winning this one, it's going to be another title defense now with that heavyweight championship. Do you think this really reinforces that you could be the greatest of all time to do karate combat if you win this one?
Yes, I don't think there's. I think you can make the argument I'm the first double champ beating Tyrone Spong, but a huge notch in my cap. And honestly, to win the title, I beat the greatest middleweight in Ross Levine. I've they've thrown the world at me, and I've beaten all of them. Ross was difficult, but I've beaten almost all of them pretty effectively and quickly. You can make the argument now. I like making the argument now, but you could not make the argument after I put down Robelis.
Going into this one, are you looking at this as your most important fight in your career?
Every fight. My next fight is always my most important fight in my career. This fight, I win this fight, and then it's the most important until I get to my next one.
You're the type of guy who throughout your whole career remain very positive, always having a smile on your face. For you, how important has the mental side of fighting been?
The mental side of fighting is I've never had a problem with it. I've never been nervous for a fight. I wasn't supposed to do this. I was a band nerd. I was just having a good time. Somebody eventually said they'd pay me. They paid me. Said, "Oh, you're a pro now." So fantastic. It was just something I did with no intention of being the greatest in the world at. And eventually it developed into me being, competing for titles and fighting around the world. And it became, by the time it was just what I do. It was just part of me. So the mental side is I am so mentally strong, I guess you could say. I just like it. I enjoy fighting, and I found a way to make people pay me to let me do what I like to do for free.
Absolutely. Obviously, before you make it to that stage, you're fighting on some of the biggest promotions in the world, fighting for belts and all that. You're battling through the regional scene. You're breaking your way through the sport. A lot of people don't realize when you're battling through the regional scene, you're in these smaller promotions, you're not making Conor McGregor money. You're staying up all night. A lot of guys have these 9 to 5 jobs. You sacrifice everything, maybe, for the opportunity to make it to the next level. Obviously, you have had one of the greatest careers that a lot of people could think for when you're doing this. A bunch of fights in the UFC, doing great things at karate combat here, but you still had to sacrifice and do this the whole 20 plus years doing combat sports. What's made you stick through it?
I get to travel. I love traveling. Before I was in the UFC, you don't make any money, but you get to see the world if you're willing to travel. So before the UFC, I've been to New Zealand, I've been to Trinidad, I've been to Mexico, I've been everywhere. To this day, I've been to like 54 different countries. I want to say, I just got to travel, and my wife is my head corner. She got to travel with me, girlfriend, fiance. They're all the same person. She's been traveling with me from the very beginning. I get to go somewhere. I get to see the place. I get fed for free for a couple days. I walk away with $400, and I get sent home with a victory under my belt. It was well worth it. Now it is, and I think so many fighters miss out on that, especially now that they don't want to travel. They only want the fight if it's the perfect fight in the perfect time in the perfect location. And I just tell fighters that you have to you enjoy it. Go see the world. Go a little bit everywhere. Be that guy. And fighters nowadays aren't so keen to do it, but I was, and I've been, past Sam made a lot of good decisions.
In addition to being a fighter yourself, you also act as a coach and help others as well. What's made you want to dabble in that side of things?
I I want people to be able to follow their dreams. I have the ability to help people do that in this realm. I might not be able to make somebody, $1 million on the stock market, or I might not be able to build someone's house, although I'm getting better at that. But what I can do is tell somebody how to punch somebody else in the face real well. And if I can teach someone to do that well enough, they can emulate the career I've had. And I was never the UFC champion, but it would be hard to argue. I haven't been one of the most successful fighters in the history of the world. I have been. I found a way to make a living doing this. And if I can spread some of my wisdom, some of my skill set, and some of my ability to help others do what they dream of doing, I am all over it.
So many people are watching the sport in this day and age, and I think for the most part now, the casual fans are starting to pick up on this. They understand that a lot of guys are fighting to try to get belts, to get bigger fights, get more money, and all that. But very few people understand the fight outside the fight. For me, and for me, that is not having to clock in at 9 o'clock and clock out at 5 o'clock. That's that fight to secure financial freedom. That's that fight to live life on your own terms, not follow societal norms. Make a mission, make a plan, and live out the world how you want to do it. For you, has this been a big part of your journey?
Yeah, I always the reason I never have to wear shoes. It is my job. I never need shoes on, and that alone is worth all the sacrifices. Because I'm successful at my job. My wife, who is smarter than me, that gal was a biochemist, and she was training to be a neonatal surgeon. Then we had our first kid, and she said, "I don't want to go to school for another 8 years." So she has her 2 degrees. She's right now becoming a midwife. But because of the success I had, she was able to be a stay-at-home mom. She helped with my career. She helped with the kids. She did all of that. And we got to travel still. I got to bring my kids around the world. My second oldest went to Australia when he was 2 weeks old. It was just a blessing, but it's really, I get to come back to, I don't need shoes ever.
Absolutely, man. You've already accomplished so much in mixed martial arts. You've accomplished a lot in karate combat with a win over Robelis Despaigne. I mean, that's knocking out probably the most popular guy in the promotion. What else is left? What else do you need to accomplish after that?
Hey, so a good friend of mine is Francis Nagano. I say good. I like to say good friend. We're probably good acquaintances. Like when we see each other, we make sure to talk to each other. We just don't see each other that often. Anyways, Francis Nagano, he whooped the tar out of Tyson Fury, and they gave it to Tyson. I want vengeance for that. I am gonna call out Tyson Fury. I'm gonna knock that son of a gun out, all 7 foot of him. I'm gonna do what Francis Nagano was cheated from.
Is it going to be in boxing, hopefully?
I will take him in boxing. I will take him in the karate pit. I'll take him in grappling. I don't care where it is. I'm putting him to sleep.
Sam, how much fun are you having right now at this stage in your career?
Oh, I couldn't. This last month, I I had more posts on TikTok fighting some bum named John than the rest of my career. And people kept saying, "Why are you giving this guy a platform? Why are you doing this?" I had so much fun. This is I am taking full advantage of every opportunity my career has given me, and I got to have fun with some guy I'll probably never meet. I hope to never meet again, in John. And it's all because of this career that I'm doing right now. All because of some decisions past Sam made.
Did you take him out to Chili's after?
No, we didn't last 2 rounds.
There you go. All right, Smile and Sam, last question for you, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome December 5th when you put that karate combat title on the line against Robelis Despaigne?
Oh, I get another big knockout like he did with Spine. That big cross, feint the jab, come over the top, and I have to come over a hell of a top because he's 6'7". But I touch that chin, have him fall over, and I just walk off, not needing that extra punch.
Absolutely. Well, Smile and Sam, man, thank you. As always, really enjoy talking to you every time we get to do it, and can't wait for this fight. It's going to be awesome, man.
Hey, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me on, sir.
Absolutely. That's it for us today. He is Smiling Sam Alvey. You can watch him Karate Combat December 5th. Huge title fight taking out Robelis Despaigne. Take care, fight fans.
Bye, guys.